Hi folks, FloridaMan here. Today I'm going over a game titled KaBoom that took place a while ago on Play Diplomacy. In this game I took over a surrendered German position, but I will start by giving you the picture from before I joined so you have a full understanding of the game. In spring 1901, England opens strongly anti-French, taking the Channel and positioning for a convoy through the Channel. Turkey opened anti-Russia. Interestingly, Italy started out hostile to France, so right off the bat, France appears to be in a pretty bad situation. Germany opened in a neutral, non-committal way. In fall, we see Germany lets Russia into Sweden and bounces with France in Burgundy, while England convoys into Belgium. With the build phase, Germany acquires a pair of shiny new armies, while England and France both build fleets. They're clearly both aware that they are about to fight each other. Spring 1902, we see England, Germany, and Italy are all allied against France, as we kind of expected, and they launch a serious attack against him. In the east, Austria is attacking Turkey and working with Russia. By fall, although Turkey is still sort of holding out in his homeland, he looks to be on borrowed time. Similarly, France is in really serious trouble in the west. However, none of France's attackers has actually gotten a build off of him yet, and Russia snuck into Norway while England's strength was focused elsewhere. In spring 1903, England shifts the English navy toward Russia, and Germany and England still continue to make advances into France. And with fall, Germany takes another center off of France and prevents France from snagging Belgium. At the same time, Russia is basically turning Scandinavia into Fort Knox. It looks pretty close to impenetrable over there. Still, he's not making progress right now against Turkey. Interestingly, there are no German builds entered in the build phase, although Germany clearly has builds available. And then, in spring 1904, multiple powers surrender. Germany, then the next day Russia, then a couple of hours later Austria and Italy surrender almost simultaneously, and all of these surrenders spark some serious discussion in the public press. People are wondering if there was cheating going on, and even whether the game should just be concluded with a draw. But ultimately, no one takes any action on the draw idea, and by fall 1904, all of the surrendered positions have been taken over again. So, there was not serious harm done to the game by these surrenders, I don't think. With spring 1904, enter FloridaMan. I take over the German position, and as the new Germany, I'm thrilled to, for once, take over a country that's actually not on fire. I reaffirm the Anglo-German alliance that has clearly served Germany much better than England so far, and we begin moving to finish France off. Also, this is a little strange, but Russia continues to keep Scandinavia really strong, and in the southeast abandons trying to attack Turkey and sneaks into Galicia. Austria and Italy are still surrendered at this point, so I think he assumed he could just start taking Austrian centers, and it would be easier than cracking the Turkish defense. That's his mistake, though, because Turkey ends up breaking into Sevastopol instead. In fall, Russia compounds his mistakes because he actually abandons his defense of the north now in order to defend Moscow, which Turkey didn't even attack. At the same time, he continues moving against Austria, even though there's a new player there. Austria moves a unit into Bohemia at that time, clearly planning to attack me, and Italy is sort of fighting Austria as well. Meanwhile, England and I continue making slow but steady progress in France. In the build phase, England just piles on more fleets, and I get another army as well as another fleet. And it's in 1905 that I make the difficult decision that England has outlived his usefulness, so we end up with me stealing a single center from England and also taking Sweden from Russia, with the result that I get to build two shiny new fleets, while England only gets one new unit and army. Austria moved away from me completely thanks to him being attacked by his neighbors, and he continues to be under attack by his neighbors, so he's no problem. At the same time, Russia has been drastically weakened, so he's not a problem. I have an unusual window of opportunity for this attack I've decided to make on England, so there is a certain element of luck on my side. In spring 1906, England starts to move his units around to defend against me, but I'm a step or two ahead of him, and I've formed a new alliance with Italy, who helps me take Austria out of Vienna. At the same time, Turkey continues his steady expansion by taking another Austrian center. I feel a little bit bad for Austria because he was moving reasonably and fighting reasonably well, but it's hard to deal with being surrounded by hostile powers. Oh well. In fall, it's become pretty clear that control of the North Sea is right now sort of a trump card for me because it forces England to waste the moves of 2 units protecting home centers I didn't even attack. If he hadn't done that, he could have retaken Brest from me. Meanwhile, in the east, Turkey has almost finished Russia off, and I believe Russia has actually surrendered at this point. He wasn't having a very good game anyway, but I do hate it when that happens. The games are much better when all the players continue making moves until the very end. This year I build more fleets, and I'm in communication with Turkey, getting some reassurance from him that I'm safe in Central Europe. He has an army in Warsaw, which could have been a little scary for me, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Remarkably, in spring 1907, Italy supports me in gaining another center, Budapest. I believe all I had to do was ask, and continue pledging to help him in the event that Turkey shows his hostility. Italy was incredibly willing to help me out here, and I don't think it was actually a very wise long-term decision. It would have been better if he could have negotiated some sort of accommodation with Turkey. France rearranges his units to try and retake Marseille, and I should note here that I respect how the French player hung in there for so long, and now he might get to try and taste a reward for his persistence. England forces me out of the North Sea, but it's actually very much a Pyrrhic victory. I'm not sure what tactics I would have employed in his situation, but I don't think it would be these, because North Sea, while a trump card in forcing him to waste moves, is not actually that important for me to hold. In retreats, you see I go to the Norwegian Sea. The Russian unit in Budapest is destroyed because Russia surrendered, and then we have fall, in which I lose Marseille, but I gain Norway. Turkey and I both try to take St. Pete, because we're both pretty greedy, and he's my main rival at this point, so I recognize I'm going to have to pay more direct attention to him. Also, happily for me, he's attacking my ally of Italy, so that should keep Italy loyal to me even as I begin to move towards Solo. With the onset of spring 1908, I deploy a new army to help Italy with his defense, and I support myself into St. Pete. Turkey tries to take it again, and he even moves a unit up to Livonia. I think I might have offered to give him St. Petersburg, I don't remember, but he should know, really, as long as I keep a unit in Norway and I have a unit in St. Pete, he'll never stand a chance of taking it from me. I also permanently retake the North Sea, and in the fall, we will see, my alliance with Italy continues to work out as he's distracting both Turkey and France. I reward him for this by getting him into Serbia, so Turkey won't be able to move units away from that front without potentially losing Romania or Greece. I also get an army onto England at that point. Turkey tries to take St. Pete again, without support. Again, I think this is where I actually told him I'd let him in, but that was just to prevent him from beginning to mobilize his units to actually do something useful against me in the middle. That works, and he loses a step in the ultimate battle to prevent me from winning. With builds, you can see Turkey still doesn't fully recognize the nature of the problem he's facing. He builds an army in Khan and a fleet in Smyrna, so he's clearly still thinking about fighting Italy. A fleet in Khan or Ankara might make sense, so you could convoy armies to Sevastopol so as to fight me, but right now he's stuck fighting the last war, rather than the important battle to stop the Solo. This is a huge blunder because at this point I'm already on 13 centers, so he should be very alarmed, he should be building armies and sending them against me. I build an army so I can try to defend my home centers and ideally gain some ground against Turkey. In spring 1909, I move my army in Munich to Silesia and move Vienna to Galicia, while Turkey finally sort of wakes up and shifts his eastern armies toward me. Still, because Italy remained loyal and because England has mostly collapsed, my victory is almost assured. I take Edinburgh and I move into place to retake Marseille. In fall, I actually managed to walk into Spain and Marseille because France misorders his attempt to move to defend Spain. He inputs a move to Spain north coast from Gulf of Leon, but Spain north coast is not accessible from there. My moves elsewhere are defensive. And with the build phase, I build more armies because the only thing standing in my way now is that I don't have complete land supremacy in Central Europe. With this, I should be able to defend the homeland no matter what Turkey and or Italy decide to throw at me. With spring 1910, Italy is finally turning on me alongside Turkey, but Turkey crucially fumbles the ball here, wasting units attacking Italy rather than working with him. Finally, the game finishes, with Italy not attacking me, but turning back to face Turkey, who's still not following any kind of stop-the-leader protocol. Remarkably, I win without having finished England off. I won't pretend it's some sort of great victory, but a solo is a solo, so I accept it with pride. The interesting thing about this game was that it was a German solo, and I found those can be complicated, mainly because there are so many neighbors for Germany to deal with early on. I thank my predecessor as Germany for having cleared some of those obstacles away. Fortunately for me, the East also kept itself very screwed up, so I was able to turn on my early ally of England. Otherwise, I don't know if this would have been a win for me. I suppose the lesson is that there is a certain degree of luck, even in diplomacy. I could not have made the players in the East act the way they did, no matter how skilled I was in manipulation, so it had to have come from their hearts. And thank goodness they had such violent, backstabby hearts. I hope you liked this, and if so, I hope you'll say something. I really enjoy all the positive comments I've been getting, especially on these after-action reports, but also on my other videos. Today I'm particularly interested in comments to let me know if people are interested in after-action reports on variant games. Play Diplomacy has Versailles, War in the Americas, Escalation, and other variations on the normal Play Diplomacy format. And although I've been doing after-action reports only on regular games so far, I've played the variants many times too, so it would be pretty easy to add some of those if there's interest. And as always, if you liked this, please like and subscribe. FloridaMan, out.